Jamaal Williams scored 3 rushing touchdowns. He did not have a catch. He had 17 carries for 64 yards, but now leads the NFL in touchdowns, non-quarterback touchdowns. 72% started. Tony Pollard. Zeke was back. Zeke had a great game. He scored twice. Pollard had 2 goal line chances, couldn't get in. Zeke came in and scored. He scored again later, but Pollard was the star. He had 15 carries for 80 yards. He had 6 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he was started in 91% of leagues. And then you got the waiver wire guy, Samaje Perine, who, mixing concussion. What does that mean? Probably means misses 1 game. But Perine, 13% rostered, caught 3 touchdowns today. Dave, anything to say, any value change on Jamaal Williams or Tony Pollard here?
No, I think you can feel good about starting Pollard, and everybody did. He was started in over 90% of CBS Sports leagues. Played on 64% of the snaps through the first 3 quarters only. No point in paying attention to the 4th quarter. Total blowout. Zeke had him beat on 3rd and 4th downs and inside the 10, but it wasn't by much. I love the explosiveness, and this was a great sign from the Cowboys coaching staff saying, you know what? He's earned a big role. He's going to get a big role. Zeke stealing goal line touchdowns, that's going to stink. But, Adam, you mentioned it. They tried to give Pollard the opportunity. He just couldn't get it done. But he did get it done in other ways. He's startable as, at minimum, a flex, at maximum, a number 2 fantasy running back.
Would you guys rather have Tony Pollard or Najee Harris rest of season?
Pollard.
Same.
Ooh, wow. All right. Well, not that I disagree or anything, but let's talk about that. And then, you know what? Let's throw Jamaal Williams in there. So how about ranking Jamaal Williams, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris rest of season?
Pollard, Jamaal, Najee.
I think I'm going to come out the same way on that, but I imagine that Najee's value is rising to the point where you might be able to get a little bit more in trade for him than Jamaal Williams, but they'll be close in value, and that's what I think of when we discuss rest of season. Who could you get? What can you get more for? From which player in a deal? Jamaal led the way. It was again a 3-headed monster for the Lions. Jamaal Williams 48% of the snaps, 5 of 9 inside the 10. I think everybody kind of expected that. He technically led the way on 3rd and 4th downs too. 5 of 13 snaps was more than Justin Jackson and DeAndre Swift each had.
Okay, I'm doing some quick math here. So in the first
square root 81, go.
In the first 7 games of the season before the Zeke injury, Tony Pollard averaged 10.1 PPR fantasy points per game, which is probably very similar to Najee Harris. So with Zeke back now, they have a short week, so curious to see what happens there. But with Zeke back, do you think Tony Pollard has a bigger role than he had in the first 7 weeks before the Zeke injury?
Yes.
Yeah. We wouldn't suggest Pollard being the best of the 3 running backs if we thought that Zeke was just going to come back and he would be the guy playing 55, 65% of the snaps. It's Pollard now.
But he was supposed to be limited today, Zeke, I mean, this was not unexpected.
I never know what to expect when a coach says limited. And I don't think they go back to unlimiting him.
It's a totally different thing. And I know that he had made big plays on 8 to 10 carries a game before, but to see him do what he's done the last couple of games, the last month really, it's not feasible to me to think that they're going to go back to giving him 10 touches a game, and he's going to go back to scoring 10 PPR points a game. I know Zeke's going to be heavily involved, and it seems like the way to accomplish that is just throw the ball to Tony Pollard 5 times as well, which they'd really gone away from this year, but that's something that's been a big part of their offense over the past 2 or 3 years with Dak Prescott. And so I just think that Zeke probably is going to have 18 carries, Pollard's going to have 12, and Pollard's going to catch 4 or 5 passes.